Rating and quick review about every single tier 11 in the game, starting with the tier 11 Borkenkäfer, the only tier 11 light tank, rating 8.9. It is absolutely fantastic vehicle, which is good right out of the box. So I would say the upgrade dependency is average on this tank, but the ability usefulness at the same time is epic. And this is the main thing what you want to upgrade from the upgrade tree as well. Of course, all the other things is good. Extra spotting abilities, penetration, alpha damage, all that is nice, but it doesn't depend on it. It is good right off the box, but once you have the ability fully upgraded, the ability is honestly epic. The laser target designator, which fully upgraded, allows you to deal extra 15% damage to the marked vehicles. So if you laser target them, if you press X to activate your ability, and if you hit the enemies, your allies and yourself are able to deal 15% more damage. And also, they get spotted for extra guaranteed 12.5 seconds. Now, where the skill level of this vehicle is, I would say is quite high to make it work to the absolute max, especially with the most fun hybrid builds, where you use either CVS, ventilation rammer, or low noise exhaust, ventilation rammer like you see me using over here. Then you need higher skill level to make it work very effectively, because you can be a medium tank as well. Medium tank who is disguised as a light tank on many maps in this game. You know, we have a lot of maps where the spotting is not #1 thing. You can be a light tank, you can be spotting, but also it is not, you know, the only source for damage or assistance or able to win, you know, able to carry your team. And this is where this tank shines the most. It is absolutely devastating when it comes to the firepower at the same time. But, you know, it is squishy, quite easy to pen with high explosives as well, so you have to watch out for that. Overall, absolutely fantastic, 8.9 out of 10 vehicle. Next up, Leopard 120, which gets a rating of 6.2, and it gets 6 into the 6 rating simply because it has Leopard in the name, guys. Even though it honestly didn't feel at first like it has the same DNA with Leopard 1, and I'm not still very fond of this vehicle. It can have its moments, but you know, it is not the saving grace of this vehicle. Absolutely every single tank can have its moments. Overall, it is just not as good tier by tier, for example, as Leopard 1. Upgrade dependency is also very high. It gets gun stabilization, accuracy, alpha damage, penetration. The ability at first is kinda slow and also doesn't feel like it is giving you anything. So upgrade dependency definitely very high. It is not amazing right off the box, quite upgrade dependent. Then ability usefulness overall is low as well. Like many times you simply do not have time to wait for your aiming circle to shrink down. It takes a long time to do that, so you need to be effective outside the ability as well. So the usefulness, I would rate it quite low actually. And skill level at the same time is also low, because it's more of a sniper tank. You just have to stay back and hopefully hit your shots. If you are more advanced, of course, you can be on the front line as a second line support tank as well and brawl with heavies, but that takes a lot more knowledge of the game. Overall, quite a disappointment. 6.2 on a good day. Taschenratte, ladies and gentlemen, is 9 out of 10 super heavy. Upgrade dependency very low, but of course it gets a ton of value out of the upgrades, like hit points. The secondary gun gets a lot of value as well, faster cooldown, engine power, top speed, and then so on. But it is good right out of the box. It does what it is meant to do right from the get-go, which is just go in, bounce damage, and slap them in the face. It is epic when it comes to the armoring. If you know how to use it, over angling even, then wiggle a little bit, and it is very annoying tank to deal with right from the get-go. Ability usefulness is very high, actually surprisingly high. The coax guns, the HE guns are so good at keeping enemy vehicles tracked. Like I shoot with my main gun into the tracks. Then I hold back my secondary guns to hit them couple seconds later to make sure that the enemy vehicle remains tracked while my main gun reloads, and then doing it again. And also penetrating low armor targets with high explosive secondary gun is very, very effective. Skill level for Dash and Rat quite low, because, you know, you just need W key and you are good to go. 9 out of 10. Epic vehicle. Next up, Hirschkäfer, guys. I have thought about that so many times. I actually redid the recording as well, or I'm redoing the recording. This tank, long story short, it can cook. It can have its moments. It can even brawl sometimes. I've had some big giga games. But overall, at the end of the day, it just feels underwhelming for a tier 11. Don't get me wrong. If you like it, there are many people actually, when I asked on the stream what they think about the Hirschkäfer, there were many players who actually liked it for some reason. Yes, I can see, you know, it can have its moments, but overall it is underwhelming, and it is below average in my eyes. Even though, you know, I've been able to make it work quite often, and in some big games as well. The ability just charges too slowly. It's kind of a gimmicky feature, you know, the ability like kind of punishes you from moving, from playing dynamically, repositioning and so on. Losing your charge is annoying. It is super upgrade dependent, extremely high upgrade dependency. Ability usefulness is high and useless at the same time. It's fun to ammo-rack stuff and guarantees a kill below your full charge level, which is nice. But it is useless at the same time, because if you move, if you play dynamically, you don't have any charge, like if you actively play and want to brawl and use your DPM to the max anyway, right? Skill level high, because it is massive in size. It doesn't have armor. It is also not having fully rotatable turret is also holding it back very, very much. So, you know, for under average for sure. So 4.5, 4.75, like, depends on the mood for me. But, you know, as I said, everything I say, you know, doesn't have to be absolute truth. If you enjoy it, keep enjoying it, but it is simply underwhelming, to say the least. Object 432U. This one was a hard one to figure out, and I would say, like, it is 6, maybe on a good day 6.5, 6.4 rating out of 10, because if I play it like a heavy tank, which I do play it with experimental turbo, experimental hardening and rammer, it was kind of working, but it has gun depression issues. Like you start with -5, you get up to 6, -6 gun depression. So it is quite dependent, like average dependency of the upgrades. You need the gun handling improvements. I do not pay attention on the ability improvement, because that's kind of a gimmick as well, you know, to cook your shots, to have higher alpha if you peak. This is the ability of this vehicle. You can charge up your alpha from 460, which is base, when upgraded, up to 600 if your ability is fully upgraded as well. But you know, how often I have found myself using it? Well, every time I peak, of course, but if you have a DPM fight, then shoot as often as you can, of course. Ability usefulness, I would say rate is average as well. Skill level low, because it does forgive you quite a lot of mistakes. The armor layout many times can be annoying, but yeah, I play it more like a heavy tank. It's slightly above average for me. And keep in mind, you know, all this is my opinion and based on my experience over here as well. KR1 is 8 out of 10 tier 11. It is quite new player friendly, so skill level to make it work is low. It forgives you quite a lot of mistakes. Upgrade dependency, however, is high. So I started playing it with no upgrades whatsoever, and you get just so much more out from the upgrades. Your DPM actually gets improved as well, and your main ability gets up to plus 50% boost when upgrading the abilities. You get plus 10, plus 10, plus 10, and the final upgrade is plus 20, increasing ramming damage goes to the enemy vehicles. So before I'm going to have a lot of fun in it with the mobility build, like turbo cruisers and hardening, I need to fully upgrade it. Before that, I'm using hardening, stabilizer, and rammer, and it works. It does work. The gun is slappy. The gun is not the worst I was expecting, like first gun, but it actually works, I would say. And yeah, it is quite a new player friendly. Ability usefulness is average, but fun at the same time. It can get you into trouble if you try to ram too many tanks. So solid 8 out of 10, let's say. Hacker, ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite tier 11s. It is one of the most perfect tanks in World of Tanks. I'm giving it 9.7 out of 10. It is losing 0.3 from the mobility department. The upgrade dependency is very low, guys. This tank is good right out of the box, right out of the gate. You get it. It does the same job as it does before. Of course, like with every tank, upgrades help the vehicle, but it rocks and rolls right from the get-go. Ability usefulness is epic, guys. Yes, many say that it actually doesn't need the ability. Yes, you know it doesn't, because the gun is just so nice already. The stabilization is god tier, and it just works. But the ability usefulness is epic, especially for quick sniping shots and on the move. But as I said, you can go without it. I love to use the ability when I see a target at the distance and I need to take a quick shot. If you press X to activate the ability, you are instantly zoomed in and instantly max accuracy activated. And you can do the shot right away without waiting a single millisecond for aim time. And also it is useful when you're circling something and want to take precision shots into the tracks or shooting anything on the move. Amazing. The skill level is average, but of course the higher your skill level is, you unlock the absolute beast and the animal from this tank. The armor is solid for a medium tank. It does bounce with the turret. A hull doesn't bounce much, but the turret does bounce some. Of course, don't count on it too much. Don't go in playing like a brawling hull down heavy tank. You can do that, but you know, more knowledge needed and skill level needed. But it has solid. It's losing 0.3 point from the mobility. It is not the fastest with the turbo. You are going 55, you know, still very solid mobility, but not the fastest. So overall, I would say 9.7 out of 10. Especially, it is just so fun to play as well. Playing with the tank that you can count on the gun is epic feeling. T803, 8.9 out of 10. Upgrade dependency is quite low because, once again, it does its job right off the gate. This tank, I would like to also call it a meat grinder. It is, when you get this tank going, it is just slapping, grinding through enemy HP like no tomorrow. Ability usefulness, however, is very high because it bumps up your DPM more and more and more. You are, like, the upgrades improve the ability a little bit, but not enough to make it like crazy, let's say. Your stacks, you can upgrade your stacks, staying up for longer, which is helpful. But the extra reload boost you get from upgrading the ability is not that crazy. The penetration and the alpha and those things from the upgrade tree, and also the top speed, right? Those are more useful in most of the cases, I would say so. So very, very strong tanks. One of the best heavy tanks in the game, especially one of the best DPM tanks in the game. Skill level, I would say, is average. You know, it does its job in every skill level, but as with every tank, to unlock its maximum capabilities, the higher skill level, the better it is. As XX40T, next vehicle, one of the hardest ones to figure out for me, and I would say this is, I have had sessions where I would rate it like 7, 7.5, and I have sessions where I would rate it 3.5. I really lack consistency in this vehicle, and I feel like the gun is the one to blame it for it. So overall rating from me is 5.8. And I have, like, with this vehicle, I discussed with a lot of higher skill level players as well what they think about it. The same kind of feeling, like it feels sometimes epic, sometimes very bad, and roughly the same rating given. So upgrade dependency on this is very high because your gun honestly feels too terpy at first. It simply feels too terpy. So you get the stabilization, accuracy, and gun handling, and alpha damage as well. Plus 10 HP to all shell damage from the upgrades. You know, all that is helpful, so quite high upgrade dependency. The ability usefulness is average. It has its pros and cons. So it's it is like auto reloader with extra steps, or manual auto reloader. You know, it's not like full autoloader. You can start and stop reload whenever you want. You can stop your reload when you have 2 shells in the magazine, for example, and then start shooting, which is a huge pro compared to the regular autoloaders, because if you are empty, you have to wait for the full reload. But in this case, if you have to shoot right there, right now, then you can stop it, or if you have fired 2 shells from your magazine, you can top it up without having to go through the full reload sequence, right? So this is where this tank shines, of course, but I would say it is more fitting, it would be more fitting to the AMX 50B line than the Badget, because Badget was sneaky, fast attacker, good camo and all that, but this one has very horrible camo. It is massive in size actually, so it would have made more sense if it's actually a tier 11 from AMX 50B's tech tree. But you know, it's a medium deck. I tend to play it more like a heavy, with heavy setup as well, hardening, fire control, system level 3, and stabilizer. Also, one very sucky thing about this is it has APCR shell with 1000 meters per second shell velocity. It's horrible. Heat 800. It's very hard to aim actually many times, or lead. It's so weird to have to see a curve with APCR shells. Usually it's like 1400 plus in high tiers, but this having 1000 meters per second only, it's also quite limiting. So yeah, it's not my type of tank. Some love it, some hate it. From me, 5.8. Impeccable. A vehicle which I personally very much like, tank after AMX 50B. I would rate it 7 out of 10. The upgrade dependency is quite low. It does its job right from the get-go. The upgrades, especially the ability upgrades, of course, help the vehicle and the ability, especially to make your clip from 4 into 5. You know, you can use that trick when you have 1 shell left. This is the ability as well. It has the cassette loading system. It starts loading your mag, your free shells, if you have fired those free shells, and it keeps 1 shell as a reserve. You can shoot it whenever you want, but once you do that, then you receive a couple extra seconds on the top of your full clip reload. But if you time it nicely, you can turn this tank into kind of a 5-shell auto-loader, which is kinda a neat mechanic. And why it is better in many cases actually than 50B. It is mobile, it's good, it's squishy though, so skill level is definitely very high, and the ability usefulness is also high. But as I said, it is doing its work right from the get-go. Right out of the box, guys. And next up, let's talk about Contriver. Now, Contriver is, for me, personally controversial. At first, I started hating this tank. I legit hated to play this tank. I didn't understand why it is a tier 11. And at first, I would say I would have given it like a 3.5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. But I switched my mindset, and I started looking and focusing on what is actually good on this tank, and it is the gun. It actually has one amazing, amazing gun. So, comparing it to can opener is easy. You trade survivability for better gun. this gun slaps hard. You know, you have 450 alpha when upgraded. You can do 900 double shots, and the double shot seems to be way more reliable than on gun opener as well. I have had 10,000s in this. I've had 11,000 damage in this as well, and it seems like it's quite effortlessly is able to do the damage. But you have to be way more careful when it comes to the survivability. You have bigger commander hatch, you have easier to hit lower plate as well. What you can bait a little bit, trick a little bit with your frontal tracks, double tracks. Many times, you know, they are aiming at the lower plate, and then you just wiggle on the right time and you can catch it with your tracks, for example. But you have bigger commander hatch, so comparing it to gun opener, survivability is lower. But I would say we should not buff this tank, but we should actually nerf the gun opener when it comes to the survivability, right? In my humble opinion. So after I started learning and using the gun, actually, it turned out to be quite a beast, actually. 7.9 out of 10 from me. Upgrade dependency is average. It gets a lot of value for the main ability, but it is doing its job quite effectively even without it. So, but still, you know, it gets quite some value. So average, I would say. Ability usefulness is good, especially trading shots and quick peeks. Boom, 900 damage in the face. Skill level is average, so all in all, actually solid assault damage dealer, I would say so. Breaker does its job right away. Yet again, I have to say that. How many times have I said that already? But when it comes to the upgrades, I'm ignoring right now all the like side upgrades. When you talk about the main ability upgrade, it is very high dependency, because you, like, your ability, which is the, how do they call it? They call it the direct drive, you know, the turbo mode, gets so much better with the upgrades. At first, you can reduce the time it takes to enter into the turbo mode. Then it reduces the time to reach the maximum performance in the turbo mode, right? Then you can increase the engine power by 25%, basically adding 2 bond turbos to your vehicle at maximum power when it comes to the engine power. And finally, you can increase your top speed by 11.5% as well. So you can, at the end, you can make this thanks top speed with turbo, with Bounty turbo, for example, up to 40 kilometers per hour, which is quite nutty for this tank. It has sick DPM. It's a DPM monster with rammer setup, for example, 4,700 DPM. Very good gun, very good hull down tank as well. Of course, compared to the compared to the Badger, it's actually has a commander hatch on the top as well, what you have to look out for. But overall, it's fun to play. It does its job. It's just like W key, glue it down, and you are going to enjoy it. Find a hull down position and just hold everybody away. It's very good tank holding flank solo as well. Nobody really wants to push the breaker and its DPM. Even if you have like 2 enemies against you, you can grind at least one of them down quite fast and then deal with the other guy. And next up, we have BZ79. I would rate BZ79 8.8 out of 10. With medium upgrade dependency, ability usefulness is epic. Ability usefulness is 10 out of 10, and it's average skill level vehicle. But ability on this is the best version of the jet boosters in the game, called liquid fuel boosters, meaning you can activate and deactivate them as you please. And the effectiveness of this ability is just god tier. To use inside the combat, to take a quick peek and slap them for 700, to run away with this jet boost where you actually have some maneuverability as well compared to the BZ75. You actually have the reverse speed. You can actually turn inside the jet boost, up to 12.5 second total boost time. You can activate it right at the start of the battle as well. It has so many combat use cases, which makes this tank very, very fun tank to play with. And once again, like, from the feedback from the players, a lot of players, most of the players, are enjoying this tank as well. It's very, very strong, very solid, good hull down as well. Commander hatches are there, but they're there for the balancing reasons. Like, I would hate to play against this tank. Yes, I hate when people are penetrating me into my commander hatches, right? But I would hate to play against this tank at the same time when it would not have any commander hatch action. So you have to win some, you lose some situation over here, because you have to play against those tanks as well. But yeah, very, very good, very strong, solid 8.8 out of 10 tank for me. Next up we have Shakal, which is one of the more complex tanks to play. Skill level is very high because you have a lot of things to take a look at and to keep track. Upgrade dependency is average. One of the most important upgrades is your second ability upgrade, or second upgrade in the tree, which is the ability upgrade that reduces the time taken to switch between modes by 2 seconds. After unlocking that, your ability is pretty much ready to go, you know, fully ready to go. The other ability upgrades, besides the final upgrade, are quite, you know, quite meh. The final upgrade is very good though, extending the special effects, the enhancement modes by 5 seconds. You know, that's very good, very good. But what this tank does overall is, it's like CS63, where you have the turbo mode for your mobility and you have your gun handling mode with better gun handling. What also can be enhanced with extra DPM, extra accuracy, dispersion, and also a little jet boost in the driving mode. But to juggle through them, you know, that takes some knowledge, some skill, some paying attention, of course. And also the best thing on CS67 Shakal compared to the CS63 is that you do not have to stop to switch your modes. You can do that on the fly as many times as you want, and this is just compared to CS63, where it can be annoying. Over here it is seamless, you know. It has 9 degrees gun depression, 430 alpha, decent gun handling. Overall, a charm tank to play. I would say 7.9 out of 10. It lacks armor. Do not count on your armor. Do not count on your turret armor. It gets penetrated pretty much everywhere. You can get a couple bounces, but do not count on your armor that much. So 7.9, touching 8 out of 10, I would say. Fun tank to play, I would say. Next up, we have the final Tech 3 vehicle, 15th tier 11 to talk about. STRV 107-12, very good rating, 8 out of 10. Upgrade dependency is low. Jump into the battle and have fun right away. Ability usefulness is negative, guys. It is legitimately negative. This ability, I do not remember. You can see, you know, gameplay footage where I did use it, but I used it just to showcase the pillbox mode and the ability. Outside that, I do not honestly remember when I had a chance to actually use the pillbox mode effectively. It has the travel mode, like as the tier 10 STRV. It has the siege mode, like STRV 103B. But the special thing on this tier 11 is that it has the pillbox mode, which on the borderline, like, is useless. Because it makes your vehicle completely immobile. It takes a long time to enter it. It takes a long time to exit it. But, you know, once you go there, yes, your DPM is like absolutely monster, like under 5-second reload, epic accuracy, your dispersion, like your aiming circle stays small all the time. It's like shooting in an arcade game with guaranteed hits, right? Of course, RNG is still there, but you get what I mean. You get 10% loading speed. Your accuracy is 20% even better, but top speed 1, reverse speed 1. And hull rotation and elevation speeds are also nuked and very, very slow. But compared to the STRV 103B, it's basically the same tank, just you know, good. If you like ST-Reborn of 3B, most likely you are going to like this as well. I like to play it aggressively on the reach lines, even versus heavies, super heavies many times. It has, I would say, it has harder to penetrate superstructure, the hull itself, but lower plate feels a bit weaker, and also bigger area for enemies to hit at the rear of the vehicle. So you have to wiggle quite a lot in this to make enemies miss or bounce, but it's very effective. It's very, very effective, especially when played aggressively. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Black Rock. This is the tier 11 number 16, which has the burst mode, like a mini MBTB's ability. You shoot once, you penetrate, you shoot twice, you penetrate, and if you have done that 2 times, you unlock the burst mode, where your next shot you fires 2 bullets out. Some players hate this tank or say it was not worth the grind. Some say it is very strong. You know, it depends if you like those type of tanks. Overall, I would say so. Like, let's say 7.7, 7.5 out of 10. Upgrade dependency is quite high. Ability usefulness is also quite high, of course, to deal 2 times 420 alpha damage, right? Because do you get, yes, 430, 2 times 430 alpha damage of damage to enemies, you know, 860, quite effective, I would say. So for 1 click and for 1 peek, pretty nice. And skill level for this to make it work is high, I would say. So it has kind of nasty armor model when it comes to the hull down, but it has some weak spots to penetrate over there. Not the biggest ones though. So, so far what I've heard, some are happy with it and some are not so happy with it. More happy with the tier 10 Travets, for example, from the rewards. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, those were my ratings to every single tier 11 tank in the game, with quick comments, with quick reviews, based on my experience with all of those. And hopefully it was helpful and made your decision making a bit easier, which tank to go for, which tank to skip. Thank you so much for your attention. Hit the like if you enjoyed, hit the dislike if you didn't, and I will catch you next time with something else. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, take care, and bye.